My name is Joy. I'm 35 years old, and I was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer in April and later found out that I had the BRCA1 gene mutation. I was feeling a little bit uncomfortable throughout a day, and I came home and I checked myself. I wanted to know what was bothering me, and that's when I found a lump on my breast. And I called my doctor right away and made an appointment. My biggest challenge has been giving up control of my life. I'm a person that's always very in control. I always have schedules for everything. Everything is always marked down. And now I am not working currently. I'm a full-time patient. That for me has been the most challenging part. I'm used to just having control over everything in my life and my children's lives. Everybody has really stepped up. I can't believe how incredible my friends and family have been. Family, you kind of hope and expect your family to be there, but my friends have really taken charge. Like I said, I'm not one to give up control, so everybody just kind of stepped in and helped care for my kids and cook us meals and delivered things, taken care of me. I've had friends taken time off of work to take me to chemotherapy. I had one of my friends literally jump on an airplane because she lives in the Maritimes to come spend a week and help my husband with the kids. We aren't a family that order in a lot. I like to cook my family meals. Ordering in happens really once in a blue moon, and so not feeling physically well, emotionally well, to cook for my family. I've had friends show up with Ziploc bags full of meals that I could just throw in a slow cooker. I've had people order in meals, people bring muffins. I haven't been very involved in, there's Hope and Cope and there's some great organizations out there. I unfortunately have a friend that went through breast cancer just before me. I've made a lot of friends throughout this process, and so we've kind of all relied on each other and helped each other through it. She was one of the first people I called when I found my lump. She was the first person I spoke to when I was still sitting in the doctor's office with the diagnosis, and texted her right away. She was on vacation with her family. And I think the biggest piece of advice that she gave me was just to breathe. I wasn't breathing. I was just in a state of panic, in a state of shock. And then on my first day of treatment, instead of being scared about it, she congratulated me and she said to me, this is the first day on your road to recovery. And I really liked that. And at the time I thought it was really cool. Now I'm nearing the end of my treatment. I'm 21 weeks in, and now it's getting rough. And so just to keep remembering that my form of cancer, triple negative, if you Google it, it gives you a death sentence. And things aren't like that anymore. And my doctors and the people around me have all told me, you're gonna go through a bad time and you're gonna survive it, and you're gonna, talk about it, and it's gonna be a bad year, but that's all it's gonna be. And I'm really seeing that. From the moment I met my doctors, it was, this is how we're gonna treat it, and this is how you're gonna move on with your life. It was never a question of if I was gonna live or the chances of living. It was, you're going to live. And I think that's such a big thing now, is we get scared of this word cancer, and the treatment is grueling, don't get me wrong, but you're gonna survive it, and just keep breathing and keep fighting and doing what makes you happy, because you're gonna get through it. I think it's very cliche, but the whole it can happen to anybody really is true. I take care of myself. I work out 5 days a week. I'm young. I don't smoke. I eat well. I work in the medical field. Part of the big, if you want to laugh about it, is for the past 10 years, I have been a volunteer medic for the Weekend to End. It started Weekend to End Breast Cancer, then the Weekend to End Women's Cancer, now it's the Weekend to End All Cancers. And I've been at that event. I've walked that event every single year. So the fact that it happened to me was just mind-boggling, and it really can happen to anybody. So you've got to check yourself. You've got to be aware of your own body. And if you don't know how to do a proper check, ask your doctor. Your doctor will show you. When I was diagnosed, I had 2 friends ask me if they could feel my lump and if I thought that would be weird. And I actually thought that was brilliant, and I thought it was very responsible, because you need to know what it feels like. And doctors have, these little boobs where you could feel, and they show you how to check, and they show you what a lump feels like. And so I think we really just all need to be aware of our body. And it's cliche that it could happen to anybody, but to me, it shouldn't have happened to me. I do everything right, and it still happened to me. It really can and really will happen to anybody. My kids have been amazing. My kids have really surprised me. My daughter's 7, my son is 4. My son knows that mommy's sick, knows that we can't kiss mommy on the lips, knows that mommy goes for medicine called chemo, knows that mommy lost her hair, but I don't think he really grasps the gravity of it, whereas my daughter does. I mentioned a friend of mine went through it. Her daughter and my daughter are friends, so my daughter saw her go through it. So when I told my daughter that I was sick, she right away knew what it was, right away asked me if I was going to lose my hair. And one of her first things was, but mommy, your job is to help people and help the sick people, so how come you're sick? And I didn't really have an answer for that. I spoke to my daughter's teachers before I spoke to my daughter so that they knew that it was coming in case something was, would go wrong at school or she'd be more sensitive. But my kids have really been strong. My daughter especially, she massages me and cuddles me and has a calendar countdown. I brought her with me to the hospital for blood tests, so she knows what the chemo room looks like. And there was one night my father wished me luck the night before chemo, and my daughter said, well, why are you wishing her luck? And my father said, well, she has chemo tomorrow. So my daughter goes, she just sits in a lazy boy and watches TV all the time. So, she saw the room, she's not scared of it. I had insisted that my children will not see me bald. I would wear a little hat around the house, and my daughter asked me to see my bald head. And then of course my son wanted to. And so I showed my daughter first, and instead of being scared, my daughter told me that I was cute and looked like a newborn. And then my son followed. And so now it almost upsets my kids. They like to see the bald head, and they like to laugh about it and laugh about, I took my daughter to school and forgot to draw on eyebrows one day, so my daughter was there to make sure, Mommy, you forgot your eyebrows, you don't have any eyebrows today. So my kids have been really good about it. They obviously have their moments. Chemo has gotten delayed 4 times, so I was supposed to finish 2 weeks ago. I still have 2 weeks to go. So that was really upsetting for my children. But at the same time, they're focused on the end game, and I promised them when we're done, we have a whole countdown, and when we're done, we're gonna have what we call Smooch Fest, which is, I'm able to snuggle my kids, kiss them on the lips, have sleepovers in their beds with them, because we haven't been able to. When they're sick, we move them out of the house so that I don't get sick. So it's been really difficult, but they've been superstars, and my daughter's been very open about it and very proud about it, and carries around, the little breast cancer symbol with her, and she has a little teddy bear with it on it, and she'll tell anybody the story that, mommy has breast cancer, but she's very matter-of-fact about it. And with her too, she knows, mommy's gonna come through it, and they're very excited to watch mommy's hair grow back. I'm anxious to finish. I always joke that I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Everybody wants to be a stay-at-home mom and go for fancy lunches and everything, but I really want to get back to work. I really want to get back to my crazy life. I love my job, and it hurts me not to be there. I think that was one of my biggest hurdles, is when they told me that I couldn't work. In April, we had gone on vacation right around the time of my diagnosis, and when I came back to school, the kids said, don't ever leave us again, and I promised them that I wouldn't. And so the fact that I did was really hard for me. I didn't want to break that promise to them. And so I want them to know that I am coming back, and things will be back to normal soon.